I have questions. As always, I've got questions, but there's kind of a different toned Trump out there. And a lot of people are saying, I'm talking like Trump now, well, many people are saying, but a lot of people are kind of chalking this up to him being tired or him just being like sleepy, low energy Trump version. And that very well could be true. I'm not making a determination here. There's no value judgment here about those particular claims. But I am going to throw another article in here. I'm going to throw another theory in here, and I would love your input on this. You can call at the end. I throw my number out. You can also comment below, which I encourage. I think that campaign advisors have told him that you got to tone it down, bro. It's just too much. You're making our jobs very difficult. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are running roughshod over us in the polls. And by the way, don't look at these stupid betting market, idiot Peter Thiel, Nate Silver polls. Those are absolutely trying to sway the election. They're not accurate. They're bullshit. Kamala Harris is crushing right now in some key, very critical swing states. Back to the point at hand. And that is, I think it's very possible. I don't know what I believe yet. I haven't seen enough evidence here. But I think that it's very likely that Donald Trump's team has told him, you got to tone it down, man. And the way he does that is just talks real slow and sleepy and boring because he doesn't know how to accurately or appropriately modulate himself. So it's either insane conspiracy theories, frothing at the mouth threats, miscapitalized truths on Truth Social, or it's this version that he's really tired, sounding just nonsense. So I have two clips here from the Economic Club of New York that he was at yesterday. I've already done a video about the insane childcare answer and the media complicity of covering for him. I showed multiple examples. Go watch that video. It's important, more important than this one. But here I want to show him, one, in a very sleepy, finally getting to it, touting how he's being endorsed by dictators across the world, as though that's supposed to be a selling point, like supposed to convince an undecided voter, an independent voter, a voter who may be looking for which direction to go. It's, oh, Viktor Orban endorsed him? Oh, Kim Jong-un has good things to say about him? It's just nonsense, but it's also wrapped in this low energy container. So it kind of disguises the message. And then we're going to get to an actual policy question that was posed to him about deficits. That is just, you can see, if we had like an X-ray personality vision to be able to peer into Donald Trump's head, the gerbils on the wheel would be panicked, absolutely panicked that this is the question that was posed. And like, how are we going to get out of this? We have no way to answer this. But first, here is him touting his endorsements from global dictators.
The anti-tariff people, many of them, I believe, honestly work for these other countries in some form, get tremendous amounts of lobbying money and other money because it doesn't make sense what they're saying. But we had no inflation and we had protection, and I saved so many industries. I saved the steel industry, but Biden and Harris are letting it go. They're letting it go. It's so easy to keep. A combination of fair trade, tax cuts, regulatory cuts, and energy abundance will allow us to produce more goods better and cheaper right here in the USA than we've ever done before. And foreign nations will respect us again. I got along great with foreign nations, and I taxed the hell out of them. And they liked me. Maybe they respected me. And Viktor Orban, a very strong man, he's the Prime Minister of Hungary. He said the only thing missing from the world right now is President Trump. He kept the world safe because everybody was afraid of him. I don't like that term, but that's the term he used. I would like to say respected him and respected our country, but he didn't say that. He said everybody was afraid of him. He said China was afraid, Russia was afraid, they were all afraid. Kim Jong-un, I got along great with him. And I tried to explain to the fake news media that getting along with people, foreign countries, is a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a very good thing. It's a smart thing.
First, at the beginning of the clip, fantastic hearing Donald Trump, who many of his allies in independent media doing what I do just got rolled up, ensnared in this indictment of Russian money being poured in, being paid insane amounts of money to be paid for shitty videos on YouTube and elsewhere. It's funny for him to say, I think that they're working with foreign governments and influence. Really? Projection. I mean, we know when Donald Trump makes an accusation, 9 times out of 10, 9.9 times out of 10, it is the thing they're guilty of. But the endorsement of Viktor Orban ain't a selling point. He is an anti-democratic goon, an anti-academic goon. He absolutely is a Trump ally. Now, that doesn't mean it's a good thing that he's endorsing Donald Trump, and it should inform the public of exactly where we're headed if Donald Trump is reelected. We're headed there to a wannabe autocracy where Donald Trump is given everything he wants relative to power with Project 2025, but also someone who has zero understanding of policy, even the thing he says he's best at, which is economics, which is controlling the deficit, even though he walked us into $8,000 billion more debt to the United States in just 4 years. $8 trillion added to our national debt after he told Bob Woodward, I don't know why Woodruff was coming out. He told Bob Woodward of the Washington Post that, I'll pay off the entire national debt inside of 8 years. But he added 8 trillion to it. Anyway, here's Donald Trump. You again watch the moment where he's panicking because he's not going to be able to answer this absolutely wonky question that demands mental acuity and understanding of the subject matter. Watch this.
But we have to get along with the world. We can't have war because the destructive capability, you can be the head of the biggest bank wherever the hell Jamie is sitting. You can be the head of the biggest bank in the world, and a couple of nukes and your bank doesn't mean a thing. You gotta get along. This is such an important job. It's a dangerous job too. Very dangerous job. If you look at statistically, being president is very dangerous. That throbbing feeling I have. Oh, that throbbing feeling. No, it's a very dangerous job, and you have to do it right. And if you don't do it right, bad things will happen to the world. Things like you've never seen before. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John Paulson behind me to your right, Mr. President.
Hi, John.
First, let me thank you for your presentation today. President Trump, in the last fiscal year, the fiscal deficit under the Biden administration was approximately $2 trillion. Under the policies you've announced, the deficit would come down from items such as increased revenues from tariffs, as well as eliminating the tax incentives for the Green New Deal. These gains would be mitigated by decreases in revenues from policies such as no tax on tips. Overall, what do you estimate will be the impact of the fiscal deficit from your policies?
Well, we just hit record highs at numbers that nobody ever thought possible. You're right, it's over $2 trillion. Nobody thought that was a number that was, I mean, you could go back 4 years, nobody thought a number like that would be possible. It's crazy, it's like, it's just horrible, actually. But yeah, we're $2 trillion, and I view it as profit and loss to a certain extent. A lot of people say, oh, it's trade. You know, you have many people say trade deficits don't matter. I think they matter a lot. I think they matter a lot. We're going to have tremendous growth. What I'm talking about is all about growth. The tax is relatively minor compared to the growth. We're going to make our money back on growth. We're going to also, we're going to grow like nobody's ever grown before. I think if this all works out, you're going to have the auto industry come back to America. Right now, China is building 2 auto factories in Mexico, massive auto factories, and they think they're going to make their cars in Mexico and send them back into the United States with no tax. It's not going to happen. Under this administration, it's going to happen. And they wanted to do that during my administration. I said, if you do it, we're going to put a 200% tariff on every car, and you'll never be able to see it. There will never be one car coming across our border. And if I would have let them do it, we would have had these 2 factories. Well, now they're building massive factories, more than 2, and they're going to kill Detroit. And the head of the union, the United Auto Workers in Detroit, has done a terrible, terrible job, just a terrible job. But we're going to bring tremendous growth back. And remember, we're also taking in a certain percentage. I won't name the percentage today, but it'll be a certain tariff percentage, which will be higher than people had heard in the past. And we will be bringing in billions and billions of dollars, which will directly reduce our deficits. Okay? Thank you very much. Good job you've done, by the way. Very good.
Thank you.
Look, the topic of this video is not the media and their complicity in this. I did that earlier. That should have posted at 3, unless something drastic went wrong. But that wasn't an answer. That was rambling nonsense. And you can just refer to that video. Everything I said about that can apply to this. This is an unwell man. This is a stupid man. This is someone who is evaporating before our eyes. And if you think that if he gets elected, what's going to happen over the course of the next 4 years with him as president, trying to navigate very technical, difficult policy questions of how to make your life better, how to bring prices down, how to stop corporations from gouging and charging more than the market can bear? These are complex issues. Look, the presidency, a lot of people act like anybody can do that job. Just because Donald Trump was elected and the country didn't absolutely burn to the ground inside of 4 years doesn't mean it's an easy job. It just means that the guardrails that have been put in place held, barely, but held for those 4 years. Donald Trump, learning from the mistakes of the past, is going to eviscerate those guardrails. It's not an easy job. There are often times that no matter what decision you make, it's not a great decision. So do we want that kind of a position handed to Donald Trump, who's going to make the wrong fucking decision no matter what he does? He's going to make what a normal president would make, a mildly bad decision, into disaster. Anyway, I want to continue to rant and rave about the media and they're missing the moment. But again, that was a video at 3 o'clock. I love and appreciate you. I want your opinion on this. You can comment below. That would be great. It'll help YouTube to share this content with other new viewers, and that would be great. If you want to call, leave me a voicemail. You could do that. 714-576-4054. Again, 714-576-4054. And my email address is daily@dollemore.com. You can follow me on social media. I am at Dollemore everywhere. I'd love to see you there. And if you want to help support this work, help me make these videos, click the join button below. Just see what's involved in becoming a channel member, $2 a month. Or you can go over to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. I'm out. I need a break. Be genuine. Take care of one another.